Right, so hi everyone. It's Fourth and Gold, episode 6. So good week last week, and let's just kick straight off and start off with our performance of the week. So I think I'll kick off on this one. The first of my two performances of the week has to be. So when I'll start off with this in terms of. There's 3 guarantees that we have in life, I think. Death, taxes, and that when you need a performance after a terrible performance, Mike Tomlin is going to pull your team through. He delivers every time after a bad performance. You look at that roster from top to bottom, and they're clearly lacking, especially on offense anyway. Depth, skill positions. There's a lot of bits missing across the board. The Texans game, they didn't turn up for whatever reason, but man, did they need a win at home to the Ravens. And not only did they pull off the win, how they pulled off the win, it was just incredible. So I looked, if you can believe, the Ravens had 4 possessions in the last 7 minutes and 49 seconds of the fourth quarter. Right? When they had the ball the first time, they were 10-8 up. First one, they go 3 and out. They punt the ball back to the Steelers. The Steelers muff the punt. The Ravens recover. They then start their second set of possessions at Pittsburgh 7. So this isn't looking good at this point. At that point, I thought the game was pretty much done. I think most Pittsburgh Steelers fans thought it was done at that point. But then the defense turns up and gets a pick. Third time. A fumble, forced fumble by the D, and then the 4th time turnover on downs. So in them 4 possessions, they gave up 0 points. Bearing in mind, one of them times they got the ball from the Pittsburgh 7. They made a total of 18 yards in them 4 possessions with 7:49 left. That is money. When the pressure was on, the fans could have turned. I think maybe a couple of them did start turning when that punt got muffed. But the D stepped up to the plate. And I did say the offense wasn't great, but Pickens turned up. He had a big game, about time. And again, that warrior mentality, I guess you could say. I won't actually go as far as warrior, but Pickett with his bruised bone, toughed it out. And yeah, you know what? Like, got to give it to that D, to Tomlin, for getting his players ready for that monster game against a rival. I don't think neither of us thought the Steelers would win that game. We all thought it would be close, but yeah, fair play to the Steelers on that one. So yeah, that's my performance, my first of 2 performances of the week. Paul, what about you? What was your performance of week 5?
I'm going to go slightly under the radar. The professionalism and all-around team effort of the Philadelphia Eagles going into LA and just handling the Rams. Now, the Rams are good, especially on offense. They're a good team. And Philadelphia, they kind of smother you, and before you know it, you're in the 4th quarter and you're down, not big, but you think you're in the game. Philadelphia squeeze the life out of you, and suddenly you've lost. You think you're in the game against this team, but they are the ultimate kind of competitive team that are all around. Just the talent that they have on offense and D, like, they just know what to do in each moment. Jalen Hurts is not, well, maybe I should start to think of him as a superstar quarterback, but he just handles the situation. And if you show weakness to Philadelphia, they pounce on you. AJ Brown is guys help me out here, but since the days of Megatron, I don't remember somebody, maybe DK Metcalf, but he's not, I don't think he's as productive maybe as now as AJ Brown. AJ Brown, just in terms of the combination of size and speed, and he's kind of nasty with it as well. Like he will beat you up. He'll beat up corners. There's no corner who's even remotely close to his size and as fast as him. And what I mean by how Philadelphia, when they sense weakness, go back to the Commanders game. So, okay, if you're going to give us one-on-one, like AJ Brown, we'll throw to him. And guess what? We'll throw to him again and again and again until you stop it. And if you don't stop it, we'll just keep doing it all day long. Rams did a similar thing. Like they like tried to play man-to-man, doesn't work. And if Philadelphia stop throwing to AJ Brown, then their run game is devastating. Absolute. The O-line that they have is they're just men. Like they just move you off the ball, and it doesn't seem to matter who plays at running back. They make big gains every time that they run the ball. Philadelphia, we haven't seen what this team are capable of. I think they've been playing in second gear, but I think they just turned it up a little bit against the Rams. There's some big games coming up. They've got the Cowboys twice. Maybe that's not a big game after what happened this last week, but there's a game in December against my good friend Jay's 49ers, which could be the decider for NFC number one seed. Keep an eye on Philadelphia. They're just doing enough, but just enough is dangerous because we're in October. We're not in February. You don't win the Super Bowl in October. So credit to Philadelphia. Under the radar team. Well, they're not under the radar. They're undefeated, but under the radar in terms of, I think, what they're capable of doing, we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, lovely. One wide receiver I'd add to that list, Julio Jones, I'd say, is up there with
exactly what I was thinking.
With Megatron, with AJ Brown, but outside of him and DeAndre Hopkins as well. What I will, just going off topic, I do seem to remember you saying, Jay, that he had to get 105 yards to overtake a certain Megatron, right? And he covered it.
He got it. I was hoping he would save it for me this week in London, but he got it. All credit to him.
What a game. But yeah, thanks for that, Paul. And your performance of the week, or your first of two for this week, Jay?
Yeah, so just very quickly, I like to think that I'm fair. And you guys both know that I've not been impressed with Jalen Hurts. But what I will say is I thought that this game was one of his best games throwing. Like, the stats don't really tell the story. Like, you look at it and go, well, yeah, 300 yards. I think it was a touchdown and interception. He made big plays, and that was, for me, I was watching the game thinking, this is what I wanted to see from him.
Yeah.
And so at that moment in time, he was going to be one of my performances of the week.
Yeah.
But how can I not pick something else that occurred straight after that game? I have to start this week with, and I couldn't pick an individual, I'm just going to say the San Francisco 49ers. How about them Niners? Damn! Wow! That was a murder, I tell you. I got to say, that was an absolute mauling from start to finish. We were better on every level. Offense, defense, special teams, physicality, coaching, you name it. I don't know what more to say. Everyone got involved.
Yeah.
The Cowboys made a point of emphasis in the week. We're going to shut down Christian McCaffrey. But what they seemed to forget was there's a whole host of other all-pro caliber players on the team. And so you kept McCaffrey to a mere 71 yards and a touchdown. Pedestrian numbers for McCaffrey, but everyone else ate. Kittle, 3 touchdowns. My man, Kyle Patrick Juszczyk, even had a touchdown on the night.
Yeah.
So, it was just one of those perfect games for the 49ers. But I do want to touch on just 3 performances in particular. Number 1, Fred Warner. Wow, he came out on smoke, 0 to 100 from the first snap. In the first half, he had a forced fumble, which we recovered in Cowboys territory. He had a big sack on 3rd down. He had an interception. Game over, really. Really, you think that's our leader, our quarterback on defense. He led by example. Number 2, got to give a mention to Brock Purdy. The poise that this guy has in the pocket. It's not the strongest arm. We know that. But he is accurate. He is calm. And he is throwing downfield. That's the amazing thing for me, is that you may look at the 49ers and say, well, yeah, he's throwing to the open man, which he is a lot. But they're not 5-yard passes. They're passes that one Jimmy Garoppolo would miss time and time again. You think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to put 42 on the Cowboys? Not a chance. Not a chance. And Brock just, and I know this is early days, we're talking 10 games, but Brock just has flashes of a young Drew Brees to me. Not a strong arm, but processes quickly, very aware in the pocket. I mean, the touchdown to Kittle, where the pocket's collapsing, no problem. I'm going to shift right into the open space, throw on the run. It's not a bullet, but it's accurate. I think that this guy is only ascending. And then lastly, have to give a shout out to Kyle Shanahan. Basically called, pretty much a near perfect game. There was a bit of struggle at 7-0, just a little bit. But he did exactly what we wanted. To put up 42 on the Cowboys, even if it is maybe a little bit overrated Cowboys, it's still 42 points in the NFL in a big game. So I've got to give him credit. And obviously got to give him, well, this might be unfair, but I'm going to give play of the week to the touchdown where Purdy hands it off to McCaffrey. McCaffrey then tosses it to Debo incoming, who then throws it back to Purdy. It's a very fancy flea flicker. Throws it to Kittle. Bang, touchdown, 38 yards. We stole it from the Lions earlier in the day. So I'll give them their dues as well. But yeah, first performance of the week, San Francisco 49ers.
What you said at the beginning of that about Jalen Hurts was 100% that he plays the moment really well. Whatever that moment requires, he does that to get the win. Where Dak appears to do the opposite. Whatever the moment requires, you can be pretty certain a pick will be following pretty soon after that when they need to put up points. So I think that's two huge differences between both players. But yeah, thanks for that, Jay. It was an amazing performance. On that touchdown, was that when Kittle showed off his T-shirt choice for the day, or was that a different one?
Yeah, he did that at the end of the game. I got to admit, I'm not so keen on some of the things that have gone on after this game, but yeah, the performance itself, very, very good.
Can't beat the performance, that's for sure. Cool, perfect. So my second performance of the week, if you would have told me I would have been putting this guy for a performance of the week, I would have laughed right in your face. But I'm going to say it because I'll give credit where it's due. And I'm putting Desmond Ridder in there for his performance last week, I never thought I would be doing this, but again, credit where it's due. He got the ball with 1 minute. What was it? 1 minute and 49 seconds left. Down by Down by 1 point, I think it was. Final drive went 58 yards, 5 passes, 1 rush. We've always said make them throw, and if he has to throw, the Falcons will lose. And it was 5 passes and 1 rush, and that 1 rush was by Ridder. It was a 5-yard scramble. Had a 23-yard completion along with some shorter completions. But when it was needed, he made everything on that final drive. Got them to within a comfortable field goal. It was a chip shot to get the win. Comeback win, had a rating of 111. 28 for 37, 329 yards. I hadn't seen this all year in Ridder. Again, it was the Texans, so I will take it with a pinch of salt, but you can only judge someone based off of who they're playing that week. And at the end of the day, the Texans had smashed the Steelers the week before. So I'll give him his credit. Yeah, fair play, Desmond Ridder. I don't imagine you're going to be on my performance of the week many times for the rest of this year, but credit where it's due. He's my second performance of the week for getting the W for a comeback win with a game-winning field goal. Yeah.
Robert, I just want to say, and I said this after week 1, he seems to have at least developed a connection with Drake London because that's his favourite target.
That's what I didn't understand in the London game. He rarely targeted Drake. I know this for a fact because I had to bet on Drake going over 42 yards or something like that in the game, and I just couldn't understand why he was hardly targeting it. But yeah, it seems last week he had no problem trying to get him the ball, and the week before that, the week before the London game. So yeah, they definitely got that connection. Bijan didn't do much, surprisingly, at the weekend, and they still came out with the win, which was a way I didn't think they could win. So, yeah, fair play to Ridder. It was a really good game as well, I thought. It was like one of them weird games where it was quite intense, quite close all the way through. And I know this isn't my feature game, but it was going to be like the Colts Jags this week. I'm really intrigued by that game. It's already the second time they're playing each other, and it's week 6 this year. But yeah, that's me going off topic. But yeah, go on, Paul. Tell me what you got your second performance of the week.
I'm going with a game that Jay saw live, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and especially their head coach, Doug Peterson, for the scheme that he drew up against Buffalo. So Buffalo, you want to make them one-dimensional. And by one-dimensional, I mean you want to make it all on Josh Allen. And Jacksonville controlled this game up until the very last few minutes of the game when Josh Allen just went berserk, and the end of the game was absolutely crazy. But Jacksonville controlled this game, and they controlled this game by Trevor Lawrence making some big throws and running the ball with a kind of a Shanahan style outside zone running scheme against Buffalo. Now, Jacksonville don't play outside zone. They generally play inside running, as we found out the week before when we both bet on ETN going over rushing yards, and he just slammed it into the line of scrimmage all day long for like 1 yard. This game, they ran outside against the weakness of Buffalo, which is defending the perimeter. And you could see by the end of the game, the Bills D was just gassed. They were totally gassed. I mean, look, they lost some players. Like, it's a real shame that it looks like Matt Milano is going to be done for the year now. Like, superstar middle linebacker, like that's huge for the Bills. But Jacksonville just controlled the game, almost handed it to the Bills at the end. Well, I don't think they handed it to the Bills. I think Josh Allen just tried to take it back with the amazing talent that he is. But the coaching of Jacksonville deserves massive credit for the scheme that they drew up to combat the Bills. And Trevor Lawrence made some clutch throws during that game and just reminded us of the talent that he has, being a former first overall pick. Credit to the Jacksonville Jaguars for how they just controlled this game scheme-wise. Just professional performance, just kind of smothered the Bills. They ran out of gas, the Bills, and well done to Jacksonville, who now go back home. Well, they want to be home here, but go back to America at 3-2, having arrived at 1-2. I didn't see them beating the Bills. We all didn't see them beating the Bills, but they drew up a very well-constructed game plan. So credit to their coach and their quarterback.
Yeah, I think that, like, my points on that, there's two things really I want to add, actually. And then, Jay, if you've got anything you want to add. I thought the play calling was so much more open and inventive compared to the Falcons game, which seemed really like, right, we're not going to make any mistakes. It got the impression that they're thinking, as long as we don't make any mistakes, we're going to beat the Falcons. We don't have to do anything special. And then against the Bills, they're like, right, we need to go above and beyond. We need to be more inventive, otherwise we won't win. And the play calling showed that. The second point, and this might be a bit controversial, I don't know, I don't think it is, but I thought the Jags overall played very good. I think Lawrence almost lost them that game. He had some big fumbles at key moments. There were times when he was getting sacked and he tried to throw the ball away and didn't get it to the line. Penalties were thrown or flags were thrown. Like, he played very good, but there were some really stupid errors that he was making where you've got to hold on and protect that ball, because that's the momentum swing that almost got the Bills back into this game. Obviously, Allen played lights out, but he almost made it easy for them. But yeah, they held on. He made some great plays, don't get me wrong, but I did feel there's a lot that Lawrence still needs to clean up. It's just some experience, I think, on that. But yeah, do you have anything to add on that, Jay?
Well, funnily enough, my performance, I might as well go into
you say Trevor Lawrence.
It was a joint award for Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, let's start with the two fumbles. I mean,
maybe I'm being a bit strict. I don't know. I just thought he played very well, and I kept on hearing how amazing he was, and I'm like, but he's making some really silly errors that could hand the initiative back, and that's me, just because I know how good he can be, and I just think, just clean it up. But yeah, go on.
Yeah. I mean, so I look at the two fumbles and I look at them differently. So like the first one, just before the half, I mean, it's on his blind side, so I'm not good. I mean, yes, you would like him to think, I don't have this amount of time, but at the same time, that one was on his blind side, so I can kind of sort of see it as it's just one of those things. The second one, I totally agree. The second one was totally avoidable, in my opinion. He started, he's in the pocket, he starts scrambling left, and then he gets hit, and it's just like, that's a big moment in the game. But I do think that he was very good on the day. I mean, it was a Bills home game, and I'm telling you, having sat there through it, it was a Bills home game. They travelled in numbers. They were loud until Trevor Lawrence was converting these third downs, and then it was oh so quiet. And he converted a lot of third downs, I felt like, watching the game. I'm talking maybe 10 moments where I'm sort of like, the Bills are going to get a stop here. No, they're not. And the throw to Ridley in the fourth quarter on third down, that wasn't just a bullet pass or whatever. That was a nice finessed touch pass to Ridley. He was open, fair enough, but you still have to make the throw. And I think I still agree with you, Rob. I still think there's so much more growth that he can, there's so much potential there. He made some steps last year where I feel I can comfortably say, yeah, you are a top 10 quarterback now. You're probably lower on that list still. And that's why we have all said it over the last few weeks. We want you to make more steps to, maybe challenge that top 5. Who knows? But you're going to have to improve in certain areas. And, the critical moments, like you said, Rob, that fumble at the start of the fourth quarter, that was a drive where I'm sitting there thinking, this could be curtains. They're moving the ball at will here. Like they pretty much had done most of the game.
Yeah.
I look at it and I say, like, at half time, they've dominated this game, but it's only 11-7. So, there's still a few things to work on. Just very quickly, the second person that gets the performance of the week in this game was Travis Etienne. This guy is an explosion waiting to happen, isn't he? I mean, the speed, and you could call it bad Buffalo as well. The Jags had been here 2 weeks. Etienne said after the game, I felt totally different this week than I did last week. The Bills travelled late in the week, so you've got a team that is, still acclimatizing versus a team that is fully ready to go. They took full advantage, yes, but Etienne's speed is crazy. I mean, the first touchdown when they went for 2 points, it's a very, it's a goal line formation. They toss it right to Etienne, and the typical outcome is the running back's going to get there. It's going to be a 2-point conversion, but you'd like to think that, okay, well, one of the defenders is going to get there. They're probably going to make contact at the line, and the running back with his momentum is going to take it in either way. Etienne is so fast that there was no one within 2 or 3 yards, and I'm thinking, whoa, okay, maybe the Bills are jet lagged, but I mean, this guy's speed is crazy. And in the big drives, Lawrence made some big third down conversions, but Etienne made some big runs as well. So he had a great game last year against the Broncos. We all saw it last week. The Jags offense looked completely different. I don't know whether it was we're going to be conservative and we're going to just sucker punch the Bills with all these plays that we've got lined up. But this week, Etienne was on. And if you can create holes for him, he's taking it to the house. So, yeah, Trevor Lawrence, Etienne, performance of the week.
Lovely. Just staying on that, Jay. So you've been to, I think, pretty much all of the London games, maybe bar 1 or 2, if not all of them. Would you say that's the best, loudest atmosphere and most hostile atmosphere you've been to against the team? Because all the games I go to, I've been to, and I don't know what you think, Paul, but it's always been quite a nice crowd. From what I can see on TV, they seem like they hated the Jags. Like, hold on a minute, this is supposed to be like London's team here, and it's literally all Bills. That's how it appeared on TV. Is that how it sounded in the stadium as well?
It was, Rob. This was the most hostile atmosphere at a London game. So there's been, I think, 35 London games, and I've been to 27, and it's never been like this, I don't think. I mean, I was sitting next to a lady from Buffalo, and they have some sort of chant to hype themselves at the start of the game, and it goes something like, "You wouldn't be anywhere else right here, right now." And I thought she was going to burst a blood vessel in her neck because she went, "Right here, right now." And I was like, whoa, okay, this is a different crowd today. But yeah, it was awesome. And, Trevor Lawrence silenced that crowd a number of times on third down. So
I think the jet lag played a huge part. It's a 9 a.m. game on their body clock, isn't it? They arrived Friday. I couldn't believe it. We did the podcast last Wednesday, and I thought they'd already arrived. Like, look at Baltimore.
Terrible decision.
Yeah, the Baltimore Ravens arrived on Tuesday this week. They didn't train today. They had a day off today, and they went around London, did some shopping, did some sightseeing, and Harbaugh was just like, right, just get settled in, just enjoy the trip, and well, you're going to London, and I'm like, that's how I would want to do it. I don't want to go on a Friday night, have a what is it from Buffalo? It's about a 8-hour flight, 8 or 9 hours maybe, and then get here Sunday or Saturday morning, and then have to play in your body clock at 9 a.m. on the Sunday morning. You're not going to start very good. You're probably not going to play good at all for the whole game. So yeah, definitely questions need to be asked from the Bills on that standpoint. But yeah, what a game it was. Some good games in London this year, which is good to see, and hopefully one more this weekend.